Guys, welcome into my official NFL Week number 7 upset picks. I do want to say before this video starts, this is kind of a dud week. When I originally looked at the schedule and saw the games, I was a little concerned. It was just not a very good week, and other people share that same sentiment on social media. This week, I feel it's going to be a little bit chalky in my opinion. Normally, I try and pick 2, 3, maybe 4 different upsets because that's normally what happens in the NFL, but these are hard to predict. Like, you take a look at the Buccaneers-Steelers game. I feel like the best that I can do is say Steelers are going to cover the 8-point spread. I don't think anyone could have predicted that Pittsburgh, after getting annihilated by 40 points, was going to win that game. So I just wanted to say that. But guys, these would be my overall potential upset picks. We've got New Orleans at Arizona. I want to talk about this game. Arizona right now, 1.5-point favorites. This game is being played on Thursday night. And guys, I like Arizona to cover that spread. The first thing I always do when I look at a matchup and it's near a pick'em, or you've got a team like Arizona, the home team favored by 1.5, I look at the quarterbacks and I see maybe Jameis Winston, maybe Andy Dalton versus Kyler Murray. Now, Kyler Murray got the massive contract. He hasn't been great. But guys, Kyler Murray gets his number 1 receiver back. I've got a lot of faith in Arizona to win this game. New Orleans, their defense the past 3 weeks has not been good. A lot of people probably finding value in New Orleans on the road. Arizona, I know they've been very bad at home. It's uncharacteristic of an NFL team to win a lot on the road and lose a lot at home. That's kind of what Arizona's done. I think they get back on track. I think that has to change, and it changes on Thursday night. I have a lot of faith in Arizona as long as DeAndre Hopkins comes back. He's himself. Maybe there's a little bit of concern with him being rusty with Kyler Murray, but overall, that offense needs Hopkins bad. They also trade for Robbie Anderson due to an injury to Hollywood Brown. I have faith that Arizona will buck the trend of losing at home, win this game, and cover the 1.5-point spread. Of course, Vegas is basically saying that New Orleans is better than Arizona. If this game was being played at a neutral site, New Orleans would be about 1.5 to 2-point favorites, but it's in Arizona, and I like Arizona to cover the spread. The next potential upset, we've got the Browns at Baltimore. And again, guys, this is a situation, I look at the quarterback matchup, I realize Lamar Jackson has been kind of down over the past few weeks. The turnover, the Ravens were in a spot against New York last week. You got to let them score. Put the ball in your quarterback's hands. Give him as much time as possible. That's what Baltimore did, and Lamar turned it over basically immediately. But guys, the Browns on the road, Jacoby Brissett on the road at Lamar Jackson. It's basically impossible for me to pick Jacoby in this matchup. I think the Browns are good value, plus the 6 or plus the 6.5, wherever you can find that spread. Because it is a divisional game, the Browns, we still have to respect their ability to run the ball. And also, you've got Denzel Ward, you've got Myles Garrett, you've got Clowney. They have a very talented defense, one of the more talented defenses in the NFL. The issue I keep going back to, it's Jacoby Brissett on the road. The Browns need a very specific game script to have success. They need to be up. They need to be running the ball well. Kareem Hunt. It's crazy with Kareem Hunt. If the Browns' offense is going bad, Kareem Hunt is not a factor. If the Browns' offense is going well, Kareem Hunt, it has like 100 yards. It's so interesting how you can tell how good the Browns' offense was just by looking at Kareem Hunt's stat line. And even Nick Chubb's, but still, it's like Kareem Hunt got 3 carries last week for 6 yards because they were down the whole game and they had to try and throw, and that's where big problems get created with Jacoby Brissett, and he starts forcing the ball. Also, the Browns, Amari Cooper, the receiving core I think is weak. There's really no solid solid number 2 receiver. I think David Bell can grow into that. But in terms of this game, the reason I would pick the Browns plus the 6.5 is because there's value. Baltimore seems to be playing very close games, but I just cannot get to the point where I'm picking the Browns and Jacoby Brissett to win on the road. Could it happen? Yes. Basically anything could happen in the NFL. We saw, with the Buccaneers and Steelers last week, we've seen it several times every single year. But based on what these teams have done, it seems like Baltimore They're 3-3, but in those 3 losses, they led, I believe, in the fourth quarter of every single game, including being up 20-3 on Buffalo. They're still a good team. They're due for a home win. They get it against the Browns, in my opinion. The next game, so here actually I guess would be an upset. Tennessee listed as 3-point favorites. Guys, Tennessee has been the luckiest team in the NFL this year. They're consistently outgained in basically every matchup they play, yet they somehow win. It's due to their touchdown effectiveness. Every time they get into the red zone, they're scoring a touchdown. They're never settling for field goals. Every one of their yards is meaningful. And I think that's a really fluky. Personally, I understand Derrick Henry and you can use him, and that to me, it's a lot of it is fluky. When it comes to this, you get a pass interference at the 1-yard line, something like that. I know a lot of people, they don't trust Matt Ryan. They think he's washed. This Indianapolis team, hopefully getting Jonathan Taylor back. We thought he was going to come back last week. It didn't happen. They're babying him. We will see if they can get him back. If they don't get him back, it would be very hard to see Indianapolis winning this game on the road. But Indianapolis did win at home against Jacksonville and did cover the 2-point spread. I predicted them to win that game. I thought they were going to have Jonathan Taylor. But on the road, this is a huge game. Tennessee, kind of similar to last week's game where I said, listen, Indianapolis got shut out by Jacksonville in week 2. There's no way it happens again. There's no way Jacksonville beats Indianapolis 2 times in the span of 6 weeks. This is basically a carbon copy of it. The only problem is Indianapolis is on the road in this game in Tennessee. But if you look at the first matchup between Indianapolis and Tennessee, it's indescribable. Go back and look at the stats. Indianapolis outgains Tennessee by like 160 yards. Tennessee somehow wins 24-17. It's due to turnovers, I know. But either way, I'll take Tennessee in this matchup. I feel very strongly about Tennessee winning, I'll take Indianapolis winning, and I feel very strongly about them winning and splitting the season series with Tennessee. The next game, kind of an interesting one. We've got the New York Giants who, 5-1, pretty crazy, led by Daniel Jones, led by Saquon. Not a great receiving core, but they're getting it done somehow. They're on the road in Jacksonville. Now, Jacksonville coming off that bad loss, but they were competitive against Indianapolis. And guys, I think this is a typical correction game, a typical parity game. Jacksonville is really not that bad of a team. They are improving. With Trevor Lawrence, the young quarterback, he's getting better. He's growing. You're at home. You've got a young defense that has shown at times to have talent. Daniel Jones is prone to fumbling. I could see a strip sack. I could see an interception, something, and then it snowballs on New York, and this is a game where New York kind of comes back down to earth. You shut down Saquon Barkley. I'm very concerned about the Giants' kind of ability to throw the ball and generate big plays. It seems like every single time they score a touchdown, it's taking 14 or 15 plays. If it takes you 14 or 15 plays, that's just more plays where something can go wrong. You want to get explosive plays, and that's something the Giants really haven't generated. So while they are 5-1, they're playing great. They just beat Baltimore at home. Big win. I think Jacksonville is in a position to really humble them. And also, you take a look, it's hilarious, this overall line. A team is 5-1, the other team's 2-4, and the 2-4 team is favored by 3 points. They are at home. But still, that's basic. On a neutral site, that's basically a pick'em game. That's just kind of like the idea with the Giants winning games, but we still really don't know if they're that good with Daniel Jones. Is Daniel Jones, would the Giants give him a contract extension? It's all very murky right now. So I will take Jacksonville to not get upset. Although, it's weird. We're picking a 2-4 team to win and not get upset, but that's kind of how it is in the NFL. The next, the Jets at Denver. So I'm sure a lot of people are going to go in on, I don't know, but there's definitely going to be people that are saying it's crazy. Denver's been so bad on offense. Guys, Denver has a very good defense. The Jets are extremely one-dimensional. I think that could change, but right now, Zach Wilson simply has not shown enough to where if Denver takes away the run, it's going to be very hard for the Jets. They do have 2 really good young receivers. They need to get Elijah Moore targets. They need to get Garrett Wilson targets. But right now, all they're doing is running the ball. Some of that is game script. The past 2 weeks, they have been up. But still, you're on the road. You're against a good run defense. Denver's been very good. They just held Justin Herbert and that offense in check. I like Denver at home to win this game. All the Denver games have been going under. I'm not going to say this is some reverse psychology where all their games are going under, so now I'm going to say it goes over. I still think this one is a very low-scoring game, the total being 38 points in this one, Denver winning by 4. I would not touch Denver, -3 with a 10-foot pole. I just think it's too fluky, but I do think Denver does win in this game. I would do a moneyline parlay possibly with Denver as one of the teams. This was one that I went back and forth on, so this is probably the game of the day. Again, the matchups for Week 7 just not great. But we do have Kansas City traveling to San Francisco. We've got a rematch of the Super Bowl. It's Mahomes. It's Jimmy G. I was originally on the Chiefs. I switched it because I think San Francisco's team overall has more talent. They're at home. They're getting Nick Bosa back. But then I reverted back to this is Jimmy G versus Patrick Mahomes. We saw Jimmy G get down early against Atlanta. And listen, San Francisco, very bad job on defense, allowing Marcus Mariota to score, on consecutive drives early in that game. But we just see the limitations with Jimmy G. He can't win a shootout. He just can't. Like, if you're an elite quarterback, you're going into Atlanta, okay, your defense allows 2 touchdowns. Go play a shootout and win the game 31-28. He can't do that. I will take Mahomes. The Chiefs, again, they're the favorites. I'm taking the favorites here just because I think the Chiefs are going to win this game. Mahomes coming off a close loss to Buffalo where they really didn't play that bad, although the surprising interception there at the end, kind of similar to Lamar Jackson. You put the ball at the end of the game in your franchise quarterback's hands. Mahomes, MVP, best quarterback in the NFL, and surprising the interception, but it happens every now and again. And that is going to do it for the potential upsets, in my opinion. Another thing I quickly did want to say, we've seen a major kind of vibe of a lot of these games falling, under the projected points, a lot of unders hitting. I think this is the week it could potentially reverse. A lot of people were talking about Week 4, Week 5. It was going to reverse. We were going to see overs. We just haven't seen it. I think the unders are hitting at like a 62-63% clip right now, especially in prime time. I think when it comes to especially the afternoon slate of games, that Houston-Vegas game I think goes over. That Seattle LA Chargers game I think goes over. I think a lot of these games being played in domes, we're going to see higher scoring, and it's going to kind of change and shift a little bit, and a lot of the overs are going to hit this week. I think the narrative flips, and it's, wow, how many points? A lot of these games going over, maybe 70 or 80% of them go over, just based on how these teams match up with each other, based on who I think is going to break out, things like that. I could see higher scores this week. I just wanted to get that out there for everyone. But guys, that is going to do it for my NFL Week number 7 Upset Alert picks. Make sure you're following me on Twitter. Link to that's always in the description. I'm, of course, the Depressed Ginger. Thank you for watching.